It is now a great privilege to invite a member of the class of 2019, Barbie Melendez, to share a few words. Barbie is an Evening Division student who works full-time for the New York City Board of Correction. She served as Evening Division Vice President of New York Law School's Military Justice and Veterans Association in 2017 to 18. She is also a member of the Latin American Law Students Association and affiliated with the Impact Center for Public Interest Law. In addition, Barbie has assisted immigrants by volunteering with our Safe Passage Project and our asylum clinic.
Good afternoon, administration, esteemed faculty, Board of Trustees, proud families, close friends, and fellow graduates. I am Barbie Melendez, a fourth-year Evening Division student at New York Law School. I am also a U.S. Army veteran, proud mother of Jolanda, my beautiful 17-year-old daughter. Thank you. And a full-time employee for the New York City Board of Correction. I am very grateful to New York Law School for supporting me throughout my legal education. They provided all the support needed when I was called for a deployment to Guantanamo Bay, Cuba during my second year of law school. When I came back, I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to jump right back in where I left off, but New York Law School was there for me. During my first year at New York Law School, I was a law student volunteer with the Safe Passage Project. This was my first time in immigration court and a life-changing experience that sparked a burning ember in my heart with a new passion for defending the rights of immigrants, especially immigrant children and refugees seeking asylum. All of us evening students know working full-time has its challenges, and for me, it's been hard trying to fulfill my passion of providing pro bono service as much as possible. But I do whenever I have an hour or two a day to spare. 16 years ago, when I started working as a correctional officer for the North Carolina Department of Corrections, I had no idea that I would be standing up on this stage today. I worked in male and female prisons where inmates were waiting for their execution dates. Life became precious. I knew that I could do more for society if I continued to pursue higher education. I moved back to New York City and began doing oversight on Rikers Island and in our city's borough jails, contributing to the checks and balances that we have to ensure that everyone is treated equally, regardless of the paths that they chose in life. Thank you, Warden Presley, Pearson, Blackman, and Officer Bazemore for being here today and celebrating this special moment with all of us. Two months ago, I traveled with Professor Claire Thomas, director of the law school's asylum clinic, to Tijuana, Mexico, to work with the Border Rights Project and heard stories of the fear and trauma that had driven many to travel across entire continents. We were able to find them shelter, give them food, clothes, provide legal counsel to immigrants, and give them an understanding of which questions the asylum officer was going to ask them if and when they were given a chance to cross into the United States. The emotional impact of my pro bono service is not something that can be realized through reading cases or textbooks. It comes from doing. And New York Law School is all about teaching us how to do things. As Dean Crowell says, New York Law School's strongest play is its ground game. Part of that game is that New York Law School brings together the most diverse group of people. Just look at our beautiful evening division, 125 years proud. Will all of the evening division graduates please stand up? You all are why New York Law School is my North Star. Like many of you in the evening division, my decision to enter the legal profession has always been guided by the circumstances I grew up with. For me, it was the South Bronx. Layers of systemic issues plagued my neighborhood as a result of poorly thought out laws, regulations, and decisions by influential leaders. I have a strong sense of community and understand that we all can have an impact, sometimes positive, sometimes negative. I've seen this working on Rikers Island through the consequences of punitive segregation for incarcerated young adults, working on a joint task force and detainee operations on Guantanamo Bay, assisting people with the marriage license project at the New York Law School Abbey Institute, and through fighting for immigrant rights one human at a time. We all can either take part in letting things remain the same or in setting a goal to make a difference. Our country was built on the rule of law. We must remain conscious about the effect any type of decision made can have on individuals and society as a whole. We must cherish our role as lawyers as an honor and a privilege. It is our duty to use our degrees to shape good decisions, to foster democracy, equality, and security for the betterment of the nation and people everywhere. Because of my military deployment, it has taken me a little longer to complete law school than the classmates that I started with. But that makes today that much sweeter. The beautiful thing about our school is that it provides us with the knowledge to succeed in all walks of life. We now have the foundations to work in different areas of law, confident in our abilities, and committed to integrity and excellence. Whether you are going to work in a large corporation, a Wall Street firm, government service, or open your own practice, you now have limitless opportunities to serve others and shape the world around you. Before we leave here today, understand that this day will only happen one time in your life. Always be a model for honesty and integrity, hard work, grit, and tenacity. Regardless of the path we take, remember, we are all graduates of New York Law School. Thank you.
Thank you, Barbie. Before we go on, I have an opportunity to rectify a mistake I just made, which only goes to show you that at my age, the print in this thing can't be too big. There is one more writing award, and that is for the best article by an adjunct faculty member, which is awarded to a member of the class of 2003, Heather Ellis Kukalo. For representing people with mental disabilities, sex offender registration. Now, I'm pleased to announce the names of the finalists for the Trustees Prize for the highest cumulative grade point average. We will award a prize to the top day division student and the top evening division student among both February graduates and June or September candidates. The final awards will be made after all grades are complete in June. So I ask the finalists join me at the podium as their names are called. For February graduates, the finalists are Seth Lemaster and Sarah Lemaster, who are both members of the day division. They could not join us today, but we congratulate them on this honor. Not only spouses, but two of our top academic performers. And now for our June or September graduates, The finalists are Cassandra Beloga, Day Division. Melissa Toback, Day Division. Timothy Ramos, Evening Division. And Nicole Santora, Evening Division. Congratulations to you. I would now like to welcome to the podium another member of the class of 2019, William Gosling. William is a graduate of the two-year JD Honors Program. He currently serves as an assistant corporation counsel in the New York City Law Department's Special Federal Litigation Division. He was affiliated with the Center for New York City Law, a member of the Moot Court Association and other student groups, a teaching assistant for Professor Lenny Benson, and a research assistant for Professor Nadine Strasser.
In August 2016, I started law school. 2 months later, my younger brother, Stephen, was shot in the head and killed at the age of 23. I remember the last time that I saw him, he was helping me move into my law school apartment after supporting me during my LSAT prep. He told me, "You're gonna make it, Will. You're gonna be the best lawyer, and my lawyer for free." The words of my little brother, who looked up to me, inspired confidence and motivated me to succeed in ways that I wish he could know. After all of the years of growing up together and all of the memories that we shared, in just a blink of an eye, a couple of seconds in time, a single bullet changed all that he could have become. That bullet also made real for me how precious every day we are given can be, and that we get too few chances in life to make a change. After I learned the news, I went home for Stephen's funeral. I had much self-doubt. I did not know whether I would be able to return to law school and focus on serious topics in torts and criminal law, where we discussed illegal weapons and gun violence, and the message hit so close to home. I am the first generation in my family to go to college, and thus the first to go to law school. My family was amazing and gave me tremendous moral support during this time, but they did not have the experience to help me manage profound grief along with a heavy law school course load. I feared that I would be flying blindly without a net. But I remember all that it took for me to get to law school and why I wanted to be a lawyer so badly. And I remembered the last phone conversation that I had with my brother. He told me that law school is my chance to make a real difference in the world and to inspire others. Stephen's death was a crippling blow to me and my family, but his words and death only served to inspire me to act. I knew that I had to return to law school, and when I did, I pivoted my direction to pursue a career in public service and courtroom advocacy in New York Law School's 2-year accelerated honors program. Stephen's death taught me the value of making the most of every minute and seizing the opportunities to make good out of bad. It also taught me a lot about reality. Stories of gun violence in churches, workplaces, schools, stores, and the streets are reported every day in the news. But I never knew a victim or their family, nor did I think that my family or I would ever confront it so personally. What happened is so real, so final, so irretrievable. Understanding that time is our most precious asset is a critical quality to possess, not only as an accelerated program student, but also for a lawyer who is dedicated to being an agent for change. For me, I will dedicate part of my career to fighting the impacts of gun violence on our city, and I have already started on this path as an assistant corporation counsel in the Special Federal Litigation Division of the New York City Law Department. Understanding how time is precious is a common bond of the two-year honor program students. The other bond for students in the program is the safety net that we provided for each other. In fact, New York Law School is one big safety net of support with faculty and administrators and fellow students who understand the backstory of each student and work to understand the student's goals and to maximize their potential no matter the circumstances. It is an amazing thing to have someone believe in you and to give you permission to believe in yourself. Thank you to my classmates and best friends, Jeannie Calcano and Melissa Toback, on helping me feel motivated on days that seemed impossible to overcome. Thank you, Dean Crowell and Dean McQuillan, for always believing in me every step of the way. Learning the law is hard. It's hard to do as a traditional 3-year student, as a working professional in the 4-year program, and on an accelerated track. For us, the depth and rigor of a year-round, 24-month program allowed us to stretch ourselves in ways that we didn't know was possible, and to approach our goals with a laser-like focus. Because time is of the essence, we learned that we must approach everything that we do with a sense of urgency, purpose, and mindfulness, the same as we would for our clients and for our causes. These are the hallmarks of our profession and of a 2-year class of committed and extraordinary people who can seemingly do it all. A very special thank you to my family and to all of our families who have been on this journey with us. We could not have earned our degrees without your unconditional love and support. My fellow graduates, never forget what brought you here. Never forget who and what sustained you. Never forget how this experience has transformed you, and always remember to be inspiring. Always believe in yourself, learn from adversity, and step forward with the urgency that the times require. You know how to do it better than anyone else. Congratulations, class of 2019, we did it.
Thank you, William. It's now time for the presentation of the Alfred L. Rose Award for Excellence. Recipients of this highest honor are selected by the faculty, and the award is given to students who have both excelled academically and contributed greatly to the life of the school through leadership and example. This year, there are 3 award winners. First, I congratulate Sarah LeMaster and Seth LeMaster, both members of the Day Division. Our third honoree is Nicole Santora. A member of the Evening Division. whose hand I get to shake one more time. Congratulations. Thank you so much. Congratulations to all of our award winners today.
Thank you, Dean LaPiana. It is now my pleasure to introduce you to our next class of 2019 speaker, Zaniah Maynor. Zaniah is a member of the Day Division. She is also president of 3 New York Law School groups: First Generation Professionals, the Christian Legal Fellowship, and the Trial Competition Team. She's been recognized with the New York City Trial Lawyers Alliance Trial Advocacy Award, and after graduation, she will serve as a law clerk for Judge Vincent LeBlanc of the New Jersey Superior Court in Middlesex County, New Jersey. Welcome, Zaniah.
Six years ago, I found myself sitting in a room with 3 legends. The air was sweet but crisp, inviting and regal at the same time. I looked into the eyes of my mother and my grandmother and my great-grandmother, and goosebumps ran from my head to my toes. I was chilled at the amount of strength around me and the gifts that they had given me. And then I told myself, you must keep this going. I am a first-generation college student, a first-generation law student, and a first-generation professional because of the 3 generations of women that preceded me. And I hold these titles proudly because of the sacrifices to get me here. 1/3 of our class is first-generation professionals. That means we are people with relentless ambition. We are not afraid to want more for ourselves or our families, and we recognize that the journey to the finish line may be harder, yet we push ourselves to get there. I came to New York Law School with a hunger to become a trial attorney and to make my family proud. My dream of becoming a lawyer emerged early. I remember telling my mom that I wanted to be a lawyer as far back as 4th grade. But it didn't resonate that I wanted a career in the law. I'm sure all of our families can say we grew up exhibiting traits of leadership, knowing right from wrong, and wanting to help others. But there was something that sparked. There was something inside all of us when we decided to come to New York Law School and pursue our dreams. Before I came to law school, I thought being a trial lawyer just meant standing in a courtroom and giving a dynamite closing argument. But it wasn't until I became a mentor and a student leader that I realized my dreams were no longer my own. They're about wanting more for others. Everything changes when you have someone depending on you to do your best. For me, the First Generations Professionals group became a family within the broader New York Law School family. We needed to be each other's strength on our toughest days and cheerleaders on the most victorious ones. That's really emblematic of New York Law School and the legal profession. It's more than just delivering a closing argument. We need to have a certain empathy to advocate for others, which we first develop by learning how to advocate for ourselves. Over the last 3 years, we've been taught by our experiences, and we've learned that our identity matters. It's not enough to know what you are, but to embrace and be proud of who you are. Not having a sibling or a parent or a family member to teach me how to not only get through law school, but to make it out of law school was challenging. I felt like I entered a ring with half of a blindfold on. But knowing that I made it out of college was an accomplishment, and it did help to make law school an option for me. But sometimes that wasn't enough to feel as though I could make it through. I decided that there were things that weren't going to stop me. I worked as a waitress at a fine dining restaurant at night to make sure I could pay my bills. I commuted for 3 hours a day. I was a full-time student, the president of 3 groups at school, an extern in New Jersey, and a coach for the Rutgers undergraduate mock trial team. It was hard to manage, but I made a commitment to myself to follow my dreams, no matter how often I was presented with a reason to give up. Like my classmates, at first I didn't know where I would work after law school. At first, I didn't even know how to properly introduce myself in an interview. But I think we can all say that law school has changed us and empowered us. We are not the same people that we were in the fall of 2016 when we walked down West Broadway. The New York Law School community challenged us to become leaders and pursue our legal careers in ways that we never knew we were capable of. And I believe we'll be better lawyers because of it. Together, we have motivated and encouraged each other to open up and truly find how we can use our passions to contribute to our communities. Thanks to our wonderful New York Law School community and groups like First Generation Professionals, Christian Legal Fellowship, and the Trial Competition Team, my life has come full circle. I competed in my first mock trial competition in 11th grade at the Middlesex County Courthouse, and now I'm returning to that same courthouse as a law clerk in the fall. We are an exceptional class. We are pillars of our community, and we are undoubtedly needed at the front lines. As I said, 1/3 of our class is first-generation professionals, and 62% of our class is women. We are trailblazers, and I couldn't be more proud to call you all my classmates. We've watched Danae Salvateria's passion to change immigration law, Victoria Volpe's passion for innovation in privacy law, and Amelia Johnson's passion to change family law. And so I know that we are all destined to change the world. The legal profession requires passion and it requires strength. That's what keeps us going. On May 20th, 1991, a girl was born, and I believe she entered the world with the same strength that she has today. She has a mother who decided she was going to move mountains to give her a life that was not defined by her circumstances. She has a family who decided they were going to build her up to be a strong and confident woman. That little girl is me. I decided that I was going to do whatever it took to do whatever my heart desired. And today, on my 28th birthday, I want to thank New York Law School for believing in me and Dean Crowell for encouraging me to celebrate being a first-generation professional. I want to thank my mentors for inspiring me, my family and my classmates for motivating me and supporting me. Becoming a lawyer has been the greatest gift. And to my mother and my grandmother who are here, and my great-grandmother in heaven, we did it. Now let's keep going.
Thank you, Zaniah. That was terrific.